Welcome to this demonstration on accelerator cable. Begin by checking for smooth rotation of the throttle grip from the fully open to the fully closed position. Then check at full left and full right steering positions. Inspect the condition of the throttle cable from the throttle grip down to the throttle body or carburetor. If the cable is kinked, shaft, or improperly routed, it should be replaced or rerouted. Standard throttle grip preplay is approximately 2 to 3 millimeters of grip rotation. Accelerator cable removal. Begin by removing the seat and the fuel tank. Loosen the bottom hex nut with a 10 mm spanner on the throttle cable adjuster. Rotate the top lock nut until it rests against the top of the adjuster. Remove the bottom lock nut from the adjuster. Lift the throttle rotor up till the cable becomes free from the rotor. Gently remove the cable and the rotor eyelet. Loosen and remove the two screws present at the bottom of the throttle rotor grip housing on the right-hand side of the handlebar. Loosen and remove the throttle cable slot plate at the bottom of the throttle rotor grip housing on the handlebar on the right hand. Lower the housing and release the inner cable from the eyelet in the throttle rotor. Remove the inner cable on the throttle cable housing bottom. Lift and remove the cable adjuster from the bracket and the inner cable through the slot in the bracket. Remove the entire throttle cable from the vehicle. Accelerator cable assembly. Route the throttle cable from the T-stem hole right hand side and bottom of the fuel tank near the engine eyelet in the bracket. Route the inner throttle cable through the bottom half of the throttle rotor bracket. Locate the inner cable in the throttle cable in the throttle rotor eyelet and route it in the throttle rotor. Lubricate it with some silicone grease. Hold the bottom half of the throttle rotor against the handlebar and ensure the throttle cable resetting in the groove and on top of the bottom rotor bracket. Ensure the throttle rotor is free to rotate and locate the top half of the throttle rotor bracket. Locate the throttle cable stop plate against the rotor at the bottom and tighten the Phillips head screw from the bottom. Locate the long Phillips head screw bottom front side of the bottom front bracket and the short screw from the rear of the bottom bracket. Tighten the bracket so that they firmly grip the handlebar. Ensure the throttle cable is vertical to the ground before tightening the two Phillips head screws and then tighten. Ensure the top cable lock nut in the cable adjuster is fully threaded till it is resting against the top of the adjuster, and locate the inner cable through the slot in the bracket such that the adjuster is seated on the top of the bracket. Locate the inner cable in the throttle rotor eyelet and route it in the slot in the rotor. tighten the top lock nut on the adjuster and gently lock it against throttle bracket. Ensure there is a free play of 2 to 3 millimeters at the throttle grip, handlebar end, and adjust top lock nut accordingly. Finally, reinstall the seat and fuel tank. Do's and don'ts. Never over-tight the throttle cables as it may lead them to break. Always change the throttle cable and check in regular visits in RE dealership. Do not lubricate the cable with engine oil or any other lubricants. Always use grease as recommended by the manufacturer to lubricate whenever it is required.